Hello, good evening, and welcome to UPfront. Today, and it's true, whether you like it or not, a massive 5,000-seat national cathedral is being built in the center of Accra. Some have applauded the decision, hailing the new piece of architecture as a huge deal. Sure, a national cathedral will possibly boost Ghana's economy. It would revitalize the nation's landscape and leave a hefty footprint on the continent, many have argued. But what's unclear so far is what is the real need for this cathedral, who is funding it, when will construction begin, how long will it last, and how is it going to impact the already terrible traffic situation in the city? Well, it's because of these gray areas that we have, in a godly manner, summoned a member of the committee, because he's a big man, tasked to make this a reality. He's also the general overseer of the Assemblies of God Church. I'll give you enough clues, but after we return from this break, I'll let you know my guest and we commence our conversation, maybe the final conversation and all the details you ought to know about this cathedral. You welcome back to UPfront. My name is Raymond Akwa, and I did tell you earlier on some clues about who my guest is today on the all-important conversation of whether or not we are in the position, and of course, I mean, can we arise and build this particular cathedral with all of the opposition that's coming its way? He's a member of the committee put together to make this a reality. The General Overseer of the Assemblies of God Church is Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong. Reverend, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you are doing well.
By the grace of God, doing very, very well.
Your committee has become very famous because of the recent massive opposition to this particular decision. Do you sense the opposition to the cathedral is more because the people don't want it at all, or they are opposed to the location of this?
Thank you very much, Raymond. I don't even see it as opposition. I see it as misunderstanding.
Oh, okay.
So probably after our session today, we will involve more people in discussing it. So people have said controversy about the National Cathedral. I don't see it as controversy. It's a national discussion. You know, for everything to survive, there should be a room for people to discuss and bring their views. The Bible says, in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. So I don't see this discourse as opposition at all. This is telling me that Ghanaians are intelligent, they are wise, and they just don't want to follow things because someone has said it. They want to understand why they should accept it. And I see this as a very, very, very healthy discourse.
Could we have had this conversation prior to we unveiling the decision, prior to having an architectural impression being put out there in the first place? Is it somewhat belated a conversation to have now?
It's better late than never. You know, the president cut the sword in 2017, 6 March. And then we unveiled the model 6 March 2018. So the assumption was that everybody understood it. We gave a lot of information, a lot of publicity about it, until recently when somebody who possibly think he knows everything came out on a different direction without much research, without much investigation, tried, and people followed him to throw dust on the people's eyes. And that confusion has brought us a state where we are. But I'm saying that it's still better late than never. So this is the right time for us to debate and discuss and draw good conclusions.
Now, you did make reference to somebody who sought to throw dust into the people's eye. Who is this specifically?
The person who came out telling people, we are driving away judges, we are doing these things, the president don't have the right to do this. Somebody said, are we doing this thing constitutionally? The way people misinform the public to arouse public sentiments against this has been very, very unfortunate.
And again, you seem to think that there's a grouping of people whose interest really is to cause mass disaffection for the project, and any attempts to do so. Why would you think anybody will do that?
People will do that for their personal reasons. Some people want to be famous. Some people want to think that they know everything and that they are omniscient for everything. They are knowledgeable, and they think that they are too much talkatives, so they talk.
And this is not one person. This is a group of people.
Yes.
Is it an identifiable group or is a nucleus group?
My position here is not to identify Mr. A or Mr. B, but to correct the wrongs that they have apparently, put into the public domain and the confusion it is creating. So my interest is not really Mr. A or Mr. B.
But yes, but just that, I mean, when you make it sound that people are deliberately doing this, it's only fair and proper that we draw down to the people, then possibly we identify the things they are misinforming people about, and it can't be corrected.
Well,
yeah.
Before you give information,
yes, please.
Especially on the media, the media is there to educate, to inform, and to entertain. As for entertainment, I don't even want to talk about that. For education, you first have to be educated on the things that you want to educate people about. For information, you have to get first-hand information, analyze it, before you can go out and inform people. So, supposing President has said something about the National Cathedral and you have some questions about it, normally, for a good researcher, you go for primary data.
Okay.
When you have got the data, you analyze it. Then you look for findings from the data. Then after the findings, you draw your recommendations, and then you conclude. You don't just go up and say, we are chasing judges and lawyers from where they are. We are moving this thing at a very expensive place. This thing should have been done because there's a lot of farming and people are illiterate, people are sick. We don't even have money to fund SSS. When you come at the rhetorical questions, just tells people that the National Cathedral is waste. It is not important. It is not needed at this time. It is a popularist view. So you kill it from the start. And that is very, very, very unfortunate for any intelligent person to think that he can argue from that point of view.
Okay, now I want us to start from the beginning, and all of this is important. My attention equally has been drawn to some commentary you have said to have made in this particular direction. I mean, we understand that, of course. You are indicating that the venue identified, the rich area, actually will not be changed, as God also deserves the best. That's the direct quote in this particular case. And it proceeds to say that you described the critics as a few Sanballats and Tobiats who want to refuse Christians the right to have a national worship monument. These are your words.
Yes, please.
First and foremost, God also deserves the best.
Yes.
And this is at what cost?
Excellent. Let me give you the background.
Yes, please.
When you are arguing from vacuum, you will make mistakes.
Okay.
Why did it come? It's on the background that people has already thrown dust into the eyes of people. I made even a reference that you can have a bag of rice. Somebody takes a cup of sand and mix it with the rice. He destroyed the whole rice. It's less than 5%, but he destroyed the whole content. You have a drum of water. Somebody take a bottle of kerosene or DDT, pour it into the water. I tell you that the population of Ghana, I have had my empirical interactions with people, and they see this idea as one of the best. But for few people who are on the media, who think they know everything but will not do thorough investigation and research, comes out, throw out passionate statements to create sentiment. And Ghana, we are politically sensitive. Anything that will make one person unpopular or popular, it sells. So there is a background upon which I give these comments. And it is true. I am passionate about that. And if we build a nation this way, we will not go anywhere.
Okay, now let's get this. Why are we building a national cathedral?
Good. The president is the leader of this nation. He has a vision. And that vision is he starts this. In our national anthem, we start, God bless our whole homeland, Ghana,
Yeah.
and make our nation.
Forgive me, I saw it at the National Cathedral brochure that you gave me.
Yes.
It starts that way. I get the point.
So he feels that God has been so good to Ghana, and he has done so much for us. The peace we're enjoying, human resource and all the natural resources. And by way of thanksgiving, we need to erect this national cathedral as our appreciation to God, a place where all Christians will call home, where national functions can take place and a lot of cultural functions. It is a place, the voice will be that we have a religious landscape, a Christian landscape, telling the world that we are a nation under God. Of course, other nations have done this, and I think this is the vision of the president, and to me, it is a good vision, and I'm for it. And but because it has been misrepresented and misinterpreted, the whole thing has been seen as unnecessary, and why do we need it at such a time as this? But I'm saying that it's a good vision. I've argued that when President Kufuor wanted us to do the Flagstaff House, now Jubilee House, people opposed it. SSS, people opposed it. VAT, even people died against it. NHIS, people died against it. Akoso Modern, when it was going to be established, people fought it because they were going to move a lot of people from where they are living. Even the independent of this nation, that's why Ghana has been polarized until today. Some felt independent now, some felt independent not yet. So for everything, you won't get 100% of people supporting it. But then when people are not supporting it, they should come out with good arguments, not arguments that will rather make it sound as if it is the worst thing that is going to happen, or people are insensitive, or we are doing this thing, you know, to be religious, discriminatory, and the rest. The arguments that have gone against it has not been the best.
Okay.
That's my passion.
I want to, you did say that is the president's vision.
Yes.
Okay. The president mooted the idea.
Yes, please.
Then he constituted a committee to implement this.
Yes.
And this is predominantly clergy committee.
Yes.
And he said, did he decide with who funds this, or he didn't decide that part too?
The decision is that it is the Christian fraternity that will fund the program.
That's what the president decided,
Yes.
or the
that
committee?
That is what he decided.
The president decided
yes.
that.
And we embraced it.
The committee?
Yes.
Christian Council of Ghana embraced that too?
Not only Christian Council. When we talk about Christian fraternity, we have Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Christian Council, National Council of Charismatic Churches, and the Catholic Secretariat, and other Christian fraternities.
All of these groups embraced it?
Yes, except few individuals who may have divergent views.
Okay, so there are some
So I would say the greater number. Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. So they all agree that we are going to build it?
We are going to build it, and we are going to fund it.
Did we decide on our own, as in Christians in this country, how we're going to fund it? As in, did we have a model in place?
You know, the project has got 3 phases. We haven't reached there yet. The first phase is the pre-design stage, where the president declares his intention, a model is drawn, board of trustees are formed, a secretariat is put in place. When this is done, then we go to the second phase, which we are now almost there. The second stage is the design stage, mobilization stage, knowing the costing, and how to fund it. So we haven't actually finalized it, but I know that the churches have embraced the idea, and we are up for it.
Okay, now when the president broached the idea to those of you within the clergy and asked for your support and actually put it in a committee and making sure that this continues, was it agreed how, for example, the issue of land acquisition was going to be done with?
He was to give us a land, and he has already given us a land.
Okay, so that was the agreement.
That was not that was his vision. It was not agreement.
Oh, so he said that
I want a national cathedral to be built in Ghana that will, fill the vacuum or the missing link. And this is the land I have. I am giving it to you. I have cut the sword. You get the rest together.
So the president chose the land?
Yes.
And this ridge area, the location was also chosen by the president.
Yes, please.
And you guys were taken there to see what this is supposed to be happening in this case.
Yes.
I need a clarity on this one because I'm not sure I hope you heard before. Some say that no, for example, former Lands and Natural Resources Minister, then John Peter Amewu, indicated that it was a clergy that said they wanted this location.
I am telling you what I know. I cannot speak for him.
I get your point.
I know that President gave us the land. So whether it was the clergy or not the clergy, you know, when you are talking...
I get you, but has the land officially been handed over to you?
It's in the process of being handed over, and it will very soon. When the things that are supposed to be there are cleared, and then we take over.
Now,
so government is working that through the Ministry of Lands and all the various entities concerned to make sure that that is done.
A couple of minutes ago, and I'll say hours, because there was some sort of a press conference at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources on other matters, but one of the issues that the minister was asking and responded to was the concerns about this land are being reviewed. The government is taking serious the views that are being expressed about the location of this place, and government will soon come out with a decision. This suggests that the fate of the land has not been finally determined.
Since it is the president who has got the vision of the cathedral and he has told us where to build, if he changes his mind, it is his prerogative, not my prerogative.
So you are open to a change in venue?
I will not say I'm open to a change for me. So long as I'm concerned, it is the best place.
Yeah.
And we should give God the very best. You know, sometimes we forget the fact that God owns the whole world. Today, if there is any disaster, fire, rainstorm, or whatever, and properties there are destroyed, nobody will ask God. We thank God for giving us a good environment. I don't know who owned that place before Kempinski was established. Man can choose to do certain things, and we are quiet. And when we are giving something to God, I don't know what is there in that place that has raised that agitation. Sometimes it's unfortunate that when there is something concerning the church, people can close their eyes and think about the wonderful things the church has brought to this nation. Now they want their children to go to school. They are looking for Mfanspim, Opokwari, Prempe, Adisadel, Augustine's, St. Rose's, and the rest. For them, they chase the churches. When people are sick, they want the churches that have provided the good hospitals. Most of these people who are talking, 95% want their wards, go to church schools, mission schools to be trained. But then when the church also is taking something little, and even is the government that is giving to the church, the whole body is crying. It's very, very shame and very, very, very unfortunate and pathetic, especially when we claim that this nation has got over 70% Christians. 70% Christians, and we don't deserve the very best of the land.
But we are a secular state.
Nobody is arguing about the fact that we are a secular state.
Secular states de-emphasize religion.
Secular states do not de-emphasize religion. Secular states promote religion, but it is not saying that this is the religion you should follow or not follow.
Oh, it's not, you mean it's not discriminatory?
It's not discriminatory.
Is this cathedral move discriminatory?
No, it is complementary.
Complementary to the mosque built for Muslims when?
No, it's complementary to what the churches are offering to the nation already. It's a complementary to the peace and unity that the churches are promoting, the education.
So, Reverend, your own is a quid pro quo in this particular case. If you're able to give something to government, you ought to be complemented with something in return in this particular case, regardless of how it looks like to everybody else in this case.
He is showing appreciation to God. If you read it, probably if you can read that,
the president is showing appreciation to the Christian God. To be fair, to the Christian God.
No, well, it's a Christian God. I have no problem.
Yeah, and the president does not find the need to show appreciation to the Islamic God, the African traditional religion God. Indeed, our own population statistics indicate that we have Eastern religions in this country.
I have no problem if another president will come and will show appreciation to another God.
Do you think that this president should do what he's doing for the Christians to the other religious groupings?
The president has the mandate to rule the nation.
Yes.
He has a mandate to have a vision. And if this is his vision, I have no problem.
But the mandate really is coming from some form of social contract he had with the people. At no point in time do I see in the NPP's manifesto a suggestion of the building of a cathedral.
This is not a matter of manifesto. He has never said it is a manifesto. It is something that is being shown an appreciation to God. So that even makes it unique. It is not a political manifesto, so it should not be clothed with political ties. It is not only MPP or NDCs who are Christians. This is we sing this, so we are presenting something to the world about our land, who God benevolently gave it to us, and our forefathers fought for it. And we are doing something to represent not only Christian religion, but our culture. Also a place whereby even the foreign heroes, like a former president who went to be with the Lord, the vice president, if we had such a place, we could have taken them there for the burial of service. Now, you know, we have even Kofi Annan. I had wished.
I don't think anybody has complained about where the burial service was held for
I know.
the former President Mahama.
But we didn't have any place, so why do we complain? You use what you have.
Yes, my difficulty in this case is that the issue is being made to look like we are in the majority as in population, Christians. So regardless of the views of other smaller groups, which has been the case of, for example, the representative of the chief imam, that they find this discriminatory, and if it's going to be done, it should be an interfaith center, a national form of place where they can use, as in have a mosque available there, they can use, and if this is also, they do not have a problem with that. But to all intents and purposes, this sounds to them like just for Christians,
that is
made for Christians, and with Christians in mind.
That is very, very, very unfortunate. I don't want this to bring a clash between Christians and Muslims.
That's not the intent.
No, it's not the intent, but that's what the media is trying to create.
Not necessarily in this particular case.
We see it in this country.
Reverend, it is only fair and proper that as people who are also part of the state.
Let me talk.
And in this case, they are part of the state.
Yeah, let me also speak my mind.
Their views on this particular state.
Let me say, their views are wrong. I must be. Let me tell you why. We see it in this country. Every year there is Baraka Lasara 10. Politicians and government give cows, sheep, and these things to all of these people. Do they give it to Christians? Have we complained? Kawakudi, where it is, they moved 120 people, households, not independent individuals. A whole lot lawless station, the Kawakudi station. And the land was given for national bus. Nobody talked about. Go and see the airport in front. Hajj village, one in Tamil. Have you talked about it? If now we have 3,000 Arabic teachers coming to teach Arabic language to promote Islam and of course the country, have we somebody talked about it? So they have nothing if they want to argue. We have a good, healthy relationship. That I like the relationship we have between the Christians and the Muslims. But we are not afraid if they want to argue. We will tell them that they are even getting the best out of the nation than us. 71%. They are about 15. And see the amount government spend for Hajj travels. Have we complained?
Is that
it's unfortunate. We Christians, we are not afraid of. We will talk.
No,
when
but
people
I want to be clear.
Push us down.
I don't really think this is the middle
the
line.
media is trying to create confusion.
No.
And I must register that
Prof,
they are not helping the nation.
Prof, I'm saying that there's a middle line that they are actually seeking in this particular case. They are saying that make it an interfaith center.
It is not my decision
Are you not open to that particular situation?
This is the decision.
But you on the committee for implementation. Yes.
This is the decision from the president. He didn't say I am making interfaith center. He said I am making a cathedral for Christians. So if the Muslims think they have a case, they should not come to us. They should not even go to the media. They should make appeal to the president to ask for their piece of the pie. And
you as a committee, you have no right to make amendments to the original proposal?
As for me, I will not even agree if I had a right. They have Kawakudi, a big building, having the Islamic center, and nobody has fought them. Why will they now come and say this? We should also want to. We already exist very, very well. I think the coexistence between the Islams and the Christians in Ghana, we were all in boarding schools together. We have moved and we have gone a long way. I believe that they should not allow this cathedral thing to bring a bone of contention. They don't have a share in it. They should agree and stay at their place. We stay at their place and we move together. This is National Cathedral and the churches must embrace it and accept it and work on it. When they were giving that Kawakudi land, we didn't go there to say that this is a big land, give us a part so that we will.
I'm sure you are minded by the history of it that suggests that they had to move a similar effigy from Rolling Circle to make it what's currently the case so that they can move it there. So it was not out of the vacuum. There's basis to a movement of a sort.
Okay.
Which saw the same history to this particular land.
It doesn't matter. What matters is that the president has said he wants to do this as a thanksgiving to God. And we must respect his decision and promote it to make it carry. I respect the concerns.
Yes, I get your point. It's just that when you say it that way, it sounds more like a president that has superior powers, not mandated by any other views in his own state. That will not be democratic.
He is mandated by other views. People are just making a mount out of a molehill, just trying to be popular. I'm telling you, the reason why I've been unhappy. Okay. There are so many Ghanaians who think they know everything. They know law, they know economics, they know history, they know geography, they know religion, they know it. The so-called social commentators, they are too much. And many times they will not research. They come out and throw dust on people's eyes and create confusion. I'm saying that the so-called social media people, social commentators, who think they know everything, but I'm afraid they don't, they are creating problem in this country. We better take them on.
The cathedral building and everything surrounding it, exactly what have people said which is not true about it? Exactly what have been the misconceptions out there in the public that really you think is not founded?
About 99% of those things are not funded.
For example?
They are whipping sentiments of people.
For example?
For example, we are driving the lawyers, the judges, and we are getting them away to make room for the cathedral. Listen.
There's a notification issue to them.
Can I say something?
Okay, yes. And I'm actually going to read you the notification.
In this nation, you cannot even go and remove somebody's kiosk that was put somewhere illegally without informing him. The president, being a lawyer himself, who believes in the rule of law, will just because of this necessity drive away lawyers and scatter them judges and put a cathedral there without having a dialogue with them, without going through the judicial services, without doing the right thing. I'll put it for people to discuss. Others are saying there's hunger, famine, cholera in hospitals, schools. So why do you do this? And I have put an argument. It is corruption that has landed us where we are. We can stop the National Cathedral the next 100 years. But if people will chop money left, right, and center, Auditor General will bring report, nothing will happen. Yoko is existing, nothing is happening. Chirag is existing, nothing is happening. SFO is there, nothing is happening. Almighty Amadou has come, nothing is happening. And recently, Chirag said that about 20% of our GDP is lost through corruption. So it is corruption that is not moving us forward. The other argument is this. Why are we doing this when people are suffering?
Yeah.
We are able to mobilize money for people to go to watch World Cup and camp sometimes without proper accountability. How much is this cathedral going to cost? When we are going to pay it?
So what you're saying is that we'll be wasting money on other ventures.
No, we are not. We are spending.
We should, as a matter of fact, redirect this into another one.
Yeah, no. The argument people are saying is that why do we have these needs?
Yes.
And we are going to build a national cathedral. And that is a very lame argument. As if the national cathedral is going to be the thing that is going to stop us from supporting the other needs or meeting the other needs. Even in the life of Jesus, Mary poured an alabaster oil upon Jesus' feet, used the hair to wipe. Judas was saying this money should have been used to feed the poor. Jesus said, stop this. The poor are always there. In Akan, that is my language, we say, this is not going to be the thing that is going to make Ghana stand still, without which we cannot move forward. So I'm saying that people are throwing us, confusing. I mean, we are going to waste money, and money going to spend on the National Cathedral. Do you know that invest the resources that is going to bring the music center, the cultural center, the tourist attraction? There are so many people in it. People just don't understand it. That's what I'm saying that. probably it might be our fault or somebody's fault. People don't understand the concept, and they have been so skeptical about it, and they have badly represented it. They have taken a certain position, and the position is that the National Cathedral is bad, it's discriminatory, is this. But I'm telling you, I'm an enthusiast. It's one of the best things that the government is bringing into this nation, and we will do it. Come what can be, it's going to happen. Life, nothing is going to stop the National Cathedral, because it's godly idea. There will be oppositions, like I said, the Sambalat and the Tobias are there. But I'm speaking to Ghanaians. We should not fight God, who has given us this peace. See what has happened to other nations. We are surviving because of the benevolence of God, and we must not take this for granted.
Okay, Reverend, there's a question that's important, and of course your presentation has dealt with some of the things people have said and what they have actually decided to say, which you thought was misrepresentation of the facts. Have you seen the quick notice from the Chief Justice's office to the about 9 or so judges who are residing in this place? Have you seen the notice?
I don't think I've seen it, but what I know is that there have been full discussions between the Chief Justice, the Judicial Committee or whatever, and the Lands Commission, and the process is going on. What I'm saying is that that notice really tells them that they need to leave on one hand and apologizes for notifying them late. It doesn't sound to me like they have actually taken them through much of the, notification process properly and discussions with them. But anybody can make a mistake. The whole thing is this. Are they going to be accommodated, or they are being ejected to find their own places?
Sorry, but
what I know is that
Reverend, do you think it's prudent use of anybody's resource that judges should be temporarily relocated to a place whilst they are building bungalows for them? And there's an important part that I need clarity from you on this. Is it the church that's taking up the cost for relocation of these judges?
What I know is that the president has given us the land, and it is his responsibility. But let us do what we call cost-benefit analysis.
I'll come to that, but I just want that clarified.
You know, sometimes
because you
can have a glass of water here.
I get you.
This glass of water can cost $5. You take it and you bring your iPad. That will cost, say, $50,000.
Very important.
And so the importance and what it will bring. What people don't know is that apart from the new houses that has been built, the older houses, a big house with 1 room, 2 smaller floors, a big pre-colonial compounds. All that the judges have is 9 houses. They are going to be relocated at a place more comfortable, more serene, more protected. They are going to be given 21 houses, more bedrooms. I'm told 6-bedroom house each. So the condition there, they are not talking. The condition there is better than what they are going to get, and they are living. They know that, and they can challenge me. And 2, what we are going to put there will be more beneficial to the state in terms of comparative analysis. So if you have, why is it that we had Kempisky there? You can have a building here that can produce $20,000 cedis a week. You have another building that can produce $100,000 a week. At the beginning, it sounds you are losing, but we should compare. So if we have removed these buildings and we have brought a lorry park, or we have removed these buildings and erected certain sheds, even in nations that I have visited, I haven't traveled a lot, but we go to New York, let me say Washington, they have a place for national monuments. You go to London, they have a place in Paul's area. You go to Paris, the center. Look at this place. National Cathedral, National Conference Center, State House, Independence Square, National Stadium. It's just beautiful. And then you get the judges to get another place to stay where they'll be comfortable. So it's relocation and planning. And I believe that Ghanaians are not understanding this at the beginning. I don't worry. There was a man who was about 95 years. planting a coconut tree. A grandson went to him and said, "Oh, Grandpa, what are you doing?" He said, "I am planting it for you." Today, we are struggling. We don't understand. It's bringing a lot of debate. But tomorrow, it might not be our lifetime. People will see the reason and the rationale behind it. So let us be, for me, I'm a pragmatist.
I get you.
I'm very, very open-minded.
That means that you are open-minded equally
very,
to
very.
a relocation of this particular facility.
If the president makes that decision, I am pragmatic of a limited point. For me, he says, I've got a dream from God that God bless our homeland Ghana. We want to do something to thank God. We want to tell God that we Ghanaians appreciate him. This is the place that the Lord has laid on my heart. I have bought into it. If tomorrow he comes in and say that because of A, B, C, and D, this is what I want to do, it is his prerogative and I will support him. That's what I'm saying. I will not tell him to budge or change his decision based upon popular and public opinion, which Ghanaians are used to. But I will follow him whatever decision he makes because it is his prerogative.
Okay, now the question about who's funding the relocation of the judges, is it the church that's paying for it?
I don't know.
But this should be known to you.
We are still in the process.
It's happening.
But I'm saying that if the government is doing it right.
Reverend, we have been told church is paying for it. You are not only a leader in the church, you belong to a huge group in the Assemblies of God Church. You're also a member of this committee.
I know.
It is very
the
difficult.
church is paying for the building of the cathedral.
Yes.
But when the land is given to us, it is the president that is moving them away from the land. Who is paying for it? Go and ask the one who is moving them away. That is not my responsibility.
There's a last question about some of the facilities on the land currently being new, and that the Judicial Service have plans of giving the judges an uplifted or some of improved facilities. Some of them, they say they took some credit line from institutions to pay for these, buildings that they are putting up. I'm interested in knowing who is taking that cost to.
You see, there was a blind man who got healed and he was able to see. The Pharisees went to him and said, "Who is the one who made you see?" He said, "I don't know. All that I know is that I was blind, but now I can see." There are people with responsibilities.
Okay.
My responsibility is not to do who is moving them, who is paying for what facility, who is doing what. My responsibility is that the president has got a vision. He has got a land for us. He and his system is clearing everyone on the land for us. They will give us the land to build. So if you want to know more about the details, go to the Land Commission or the presidency for those answers. For my side...
I get your point, but I want to know, when are they going to clear the place for you? When? Final...
It's in the process. It's in the process.
I just want to know, because I'm also interested in knowing when the cathedral is going to be built.
You see, I cannot tell you, and I've said that three phases.
Yeah.
The first phase is pre-design, which is almost completed. Then the design and the mobilization. So that will come as a second phase. And then the final phase will be the construction. So
it's getting interesting. It's getting interesting, but please indulge me to take a break. When I come back from this break, we'll continue our conversation on the National Cathedral. And I'm with the Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong Manson. He's the General Overseer of the Assemblies of God Church and also a member of the committee tasked to make this cathedral a reality. Welcome back to UpFront. My name is Raymond Akwa. My guest today is the Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong Manson of the Assemblies of God Church, General Overseer. And of course, I'm given to understand that just today, he's actually been given another position too in the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Churches grouping. So you are the chairman or president? President. That's wonderful. Congratulations, Abid.
Thank you.
We see how you run the Ghana Pentecostal. Do they support the cathedral building?
They are really in full
I'm
support.
sure now that you are leading it, it clearly will bring that particular mind to mind. I want us to wrap up briefly on Cathedral because there are questions on how the Pentecostal movement is operating in this country that I need to bring to your attention. Now that you are in charge, I'm sure you speak to it. The way you are smiling, okay. Now let's get to this point. Now, I'm sure you know Professor Ejimabodi. Professor Ejimabodi says that if government puts in a peswa in the acquisition of land, in the building of this thing, government will be robbing the poor people. Do you agree?
Well, I don't know the premise in which he said it, so it will be very, very...
No, that was a direct question to you about what he thinks about this particular cathedral building. He said, if government, and these are just his words, puts in a peswa from acquisition of land through to the building of this facility, to him, and of course, he's been in civil society for a very long time, government will be robbing the poor people of this country.
He doesn't understand the whole concept, so I will give him the benefit of doubt to come of his opinion. You know, people are very, very intelligent in this nation, and people are very passionate, and sometimes they have become like thinkers. Everything they say, we think it is secret. He's one of the persons I respect very, very much, but he's not a religious person, religious figure, so he doesn't understand religion. He can function in his area. With all respect, I don't agree with him.
Okay, now I want us to finally move on. So when will we know the date for the construction? When will we know? When is it going to be publicized?
I don't think it's going to be long. After the land has been fully cleared and has been given to us. Because you cannot go ahead when you haven't even got a place. We are still in the process and the mobilization stage. And when that stage has ended, because the process, it includes the drawing, the structure, going through various approvals, then it will go to town and country, this land, town and country planning for approval. It takes a long time. So you have to finish all these things before you can say that I've got a node, I've got the funding, I will start. That will be the time we'll be able to come out clearly and boldly to tell people when we are starting and when we are finishing.
But that
of course, when we say when do we start, it has already been started since 2007 when the sword was cut and when the thing was unveiled. So the process is ongoing.
Now, the other question related to this cathedral is, are we ever going to be told when you have raised all the money for it? Because we're told that some 2 million was first and foremost advanced to the church in this case by an individual. We're not told the details of that, to be fair. Are we going to be giving regular updates on that?
We will give, in fact, we will invite you people, the media, to help us even to raise the funds. We will be very transparent as possible, and Ghanaians will know everything about it. I can promise that.
There's a minute, and I'm told to allow you this, a minute to convince those you consider to be, the expression is biblical, Sambalats and Tobiats, to join you in this quest to build a cathedral.
You cannot win them. In fact, every leader who thinks that he will get 100% support of what he's doing has already lost it. I have taught a lot of leadership sessions around the globe. And we have 3 groups of people. 10%, they will support you. They will make you win. They are the people you should depend upon. There is another 10%. Even if you give them your blood, they will not support you. You ignore them. If you turn your attention to them, you won't start. Use the 10% to convince the 80% who are watching, who are sitting on the fence. But if you turn your attention to the 10%, you will give them ammunitions to infiltrate in the 80%, and you frustrate the 10% who are supporting you. So I will say that any leader, you need to succeed by winning 10 dedicated, committed percent who will be for you. So for the National Cathedral, we have more than 10%. I have, in my leadership position, I've said that any vision that I have, when I have 10%, I succeed. So we are using the 10%, including me, who are enthusiasts for it. We are convincing the 80% who really want to come. Let us ignore the Sambalat and the Tobias because they have no portion in it and they should not scare us. They are normally the loudest. They seem to be the wisest. They seem to be the most influential. They seem to be all-knowing. We should ignore them, concentrate on the 10% who are for us to win the 80% who are the potential force. And the cathedral will be done.
That's that's quite a strategy. That's an interesting one.
I have done leadership for over 30 years.
Wonderful.
These are some of the strategies.
Okay, now, the Pentecostal Council and its movement in this country. There's a recent complaint about how some pastors, and this one it's with carefulness because, I mean, people who are saying this are minded by biblical injunctions on touching not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. They are minded equally to be careful about dealing with men of God because they believe that this is a very different terrain altogether. They conduct some of them, especially a particular grouping, the opulence with which they do their work, the kind of functioning which is come out very new to Christianity and the performing over the period. And they have made reference, I'm sure you've heard of them, of the Obinims and the like in this case. Is it ever possible that that group could be reined in if the grouping feels their conduct is inappropriate?
Raymond, thank you very much. The Bible says, by their fruits you shall know them. The Bible says, a farmer made a farm, sowed a good seed, but when people went to bed, the enemy went there and sowed in the tares. They went to the farmer in the morning. His laborer said, what do we do? He said, let them grow together. In the Christian landscape of Ghana, there are wheat and tares. And the Bible says, not all those who say, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of God, but those who do the will of God. Some will say, Lord, in your name we cast out demons, we did this. But the Lord will say, I know you not, you workers of iniquity. There are three things.
But the Reverend Professor, there's a problem in this case. The ordinary person may not have your sophistication in the Bible to be able to determine some of these.
I am going to give you only three.
Okay.
The first is character text. If somebody is a man of God, the life he lives, by their fruits you should know them. And if the life that he lives, his immoral lives, his disrespect, his opulence, and so many things tells you, you can judge him by his character. Okay. So first, is he living right? Do we see him as a good example to society? Is he practicing what he preaches? Is he there with the girls? Is he there with the women? Is he accountable to whatever? So the first thing is character test. The second is doctrinal test. Whatever somebody teaches should be in line with the Bible. So if he's teaching and preaching and it's not in conformity with what the word of God says, be careful. And finally, accountability test. As I sit here, I'm accountable to the Assemblies of God Ghana. In fact, recently they elected on me based upon my leadership. Okay. Every year, I wish I can bring you a form tomorrow to see. Every Assemblies of God pastor will fill the form, even his prayer life, the books he has read, how he has conducted himself.
But forgive me, the people we are dealing with are not in this group. So that's where the difficulty is.
And so if somebody is not accountable, why do you even give him money? So if somebody is not accountable, he's not a man of God. Period. If somebody is not, his teachings and preaching is not in line with the Bible, I will chase woman, I can change to a snake, I will beating people, storming, giving lotto numbers and all these things. No, you don't need anybody to tell you as a man of God. Prophets prophesying, I prophesy that that person should die, I prophesy that that person should win election, I prophesy that King Tampo falls. All these things are not necessary. They are wrong. They are deceiving people. They are cheating people. And as you may know me, I'm very, very passionate about these wrong things. I have always said that if I weren't saved in the Scriptures Union in the 70s, I wouldn't have become a Christian today because of the things that I'm seeing. It is very, very bad. It is wicked. It is evil. And some of you give you a radio station for them because you want money for them to come and pollute the atmosphere. No,
because it's a very thin line between what's right and what's inappropriate in this case. And because you should not be seen as also discriminating on those bases, because we are told that some of you who speak good English, who are probably educated, are to some extent using this and looking down upon the section that's partially educated or non-educated at all and making it look like their conduct is inappropriate.
The call of God has nothing to do with English or not English. Most of our Pentecostal fathers who funded our churches were no university graduates or PhD holders, like some of us are holding. They had the heart. they had the passion and they have the desire and they lived a simple life. Somebody can speak a good English and still deceive people.
I get your point, but one of the points I want to raise from you, because since you gave me the criteria, now the Reverend Sam Kwanchi will actually be given the criteria. He says that most of these people who are who are fake prophets in this case, bleach their skin. Is that one of the criteria that I should see on the face of it to be able to determine that?
I don't know, you know, it looks like there's a format. I would not say a criteria, because most of them will make their hair jerky, grow certain beard or shave their hair and put certain rings. I don't know why. It looks like it's a format.
So the bleaching is one of them, actually.
Well, it is his observation. I will now begin to observe.
No, but
for me, I normally see them. Normally, they will shade their hair to the skin and grow some beard. Sometimes they will put something here.
Okay.
I have seen that they normally use these waves to make their hair curly, blah, blah, blah. They have a lot of different styles, you know. Very flashy and flamboyant. And,
it's interesting how this is going to be resolved. Can we crack the whip on people like that?
Yes and no. First, you remember TNDC law 221.
Yes.
It didn't work.
It's
so
true.
If you use force, you may probably mix them together. But I believe that there are groupings. There should be peer groupings. You can't be a lawyer without being in the Ghana Bar Association or medical. So there are associations like GPCC, Christian Council of Ghana, National Charismatic Council, Catholic Secretariat. They should belong to at least one, so that there should be a way of managing and helping them. For example, in GPCC, we will not allow our people to behave that way. We will correct them, or we will rather sack them. Saying that, most of them started very well, but they didn't get good leadership. So we do not throw the baby together with the bathwater. I've said that those of us who think we are right, we should not cast the first stone. We should rather be pragmatic, be loving, caring, embracing. Who knows, through our association and our affiliation, some of them will change. For me, I'd rather prefer somebody preaching wrong than somebody who not giving the word of God at all. Most of them have the good intention, but they are misdirected and they need help.
You said legislation will not work. Legislation will not work.
I don't, you know, it may not work. It will rather cause reaction. And TNDC law 221, I think that those days I was in UK studying, and I get messages from Ghana. Rodensi, he's fighting the church, and I think it didn't work well. That's why they dropped it.
Continue with that.
We should not entertain that.
But churches are willing to pay tax, aren't they? Not on the core duties you're already paying tax on. The president said the opulent lifestyle of some of these pastors makes it very possible for them to be taxed. Are you agreeing to this?
I have said over and over again, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. This was about tax paying. Caesar makes the roads. Caesar pays our teachers. Caesar pays our doctors. Caesar needs money to run these institutions. Where does he get the money? Through taxation. So I believe that. And unto God. So when we receive money, we have paid our tax on it again. So the tax, the money that is going for the tithe and offering is already taxed. So you tax it, it's a double tax. We are NGOs, just like any NGO. So the tithe and the offering, I would say, no-go area. But we, the workers, we receive our monthly salaries. We have to pay. If we have restaurants, schools, clinics, hotels, and whatever, we have to pay from those monies that we gain from there. But then the money that we say is NGO, I have fought that. Every year, every church or every NGO should submit audited accounts to the GRA for them to know that the monies were used for the purposes they were raised, not that one person has used it.
We can't tax the tithe.
And the offerings.
We can't.
Yes.
You think they should be exempted? But they should be submitted as records.
Yeah, because what we use the tithe and the offering to do, the money we spend on it, on humanitarian support, is more than tax. The churches supporting orphans, orphanages, paying school fees, doing so many things, helping the prisons. I mean, what we are using is already more. Some of our churches, we spend more than 70% of our income already doing the things that
the last
is
question, though. It's about the double track system. Is the GPCC and the Assemblies of God Church, which knows and have schools across the country, in support of this double track system?
I am more than enthusiast. I have said it in many areas. There's a paradigm shift. What is killing Ghanaians is that we have never done it this way before. We always want to do it the way we have done things. And so the double track system is innovation to accommodate the hundreds of thousands of people who could not get the opportunity to study. And I know it's a remedial measure. And as we grow and we are able to, get enough resources to bring more schools, we may probably stop it. So I'm enthusiastic of it, a great fan of it.
Prof, we need to do this conversation again, but folks, that's where we end today's edition of UPfront. My name is Raymond Akwa.